Greetings, watch comrades. Craig Hester here, president of the Détente Watch Group. We're here at Evine Live today, and we're taking a few minutes to go over the special aspects that make Vostok-Europe, Vostok-Europe. In this particular segment, we're going to talk about the components of a Vostok-Europe watch. Now, if you've been watching our shows over the years, you've heard me talk many times about the caliber of construction of a Vostok-Europe. I took this opportunity to actually take apart a Vostok-Europe watch, literally every component other than the movement. I didn't take the movement apart, to show you the caliber of construction. The first component that I always enjoy talking about from Vostok-Europe is the crystal. Vostok-Europe makes amazing crystals. Now, we understand that people consider the gold standard of crystals to be the sapphire, or you might argue the sapphire standard, but because Vostok-Europe is using the K1 mineral crystal system and the fact that their watches are sport and dive watches, we like to think that they're actually better for the watches that Vostok-Europe is building. Now, what is K1? K1 is actually has a trade secret on how these crystals are made, because it is different than any mineral crystal out there, or for that matter, sapphire crystal. If you look at it on the Mohs scale, a mineral crystal, a standard mineral crystal, is a 5. And the sapphire is a 9. But the K1 mineral crystal is a 7. That means that you have greater shatter resistancy than a sapphire crystal and greater scratch resistancy than a regular mineral crystal. So for a sport or adventure watch like Vostok-Europe is, you get the best of both worlds. Another thing I'd like to point out is look at how thick the crystal is on a Vostok-Europe watch. They're all 3.5 to 4 millimeters thick. It's important to note that that's as thick as the links on most bracelets. Most normal or standard watches use 1 millimeter to 1.5 millimeters. This is just one heck of a crystal put in Vostok-Europe to give you the greatest possible protection for your dial. Every component on a Vostok-Europe watch in the case is surgical grade stainless steel or titanium or bronze, as they're using now. The other thing that I like to always point out is that Vostok-Europe uses metal movement holders. Now, a lot of watches are built with plastic movement holders, and I always like to say there's nothing wrong with that. We have watches in our lineup that use plastic movement holders, and they work just fine. All of Vostok-Europe watches, or at least most all of them, are 200-meter water resistant or higher. The particular one that I took apart here, the Anchar, is actually a 300-meter water resistant watch. To get that level of quality, which is considered professional grade dive quality watches, the metal movement holder is a part of having that level of quality construction. In this particular case, the Anchar, which is the one that I took apart completely for this demonstration, has the tritium tube technology. These are the laser sealed glass tubes that you see here on the chapter ring of the stadium of the watch, and that gives you the constant illumination. Those do add a great deal of expense to the watch, but they also add a luminous material that you don't get in every everyday watch. This, as an example, this is the bar that holds the strap, an actual stainless steel bar that holds the strap in place. And then lastly, I always like to point out the level of dial work they do. This is actually a fairly simple dial for Vostok-Europe, but you can see that the indicators are not painted on or pressed into the dial. These are actual separate indicators that create a three-dimensional look on the dial, and of course, that always adds expense. I'm gonna reach over and grab actually the dial from a different watch. This is from the Maria, and you can see, look at those indicators that are put on here. Each one of these is built separately, is tooled separately, and is hand applied to the dial. So the point of this is just to give you a quick understanding that every single component of a Vostok-Europe watch is top quality grade A material, and that means when you put this on your wrist, you're going to feel that quality and understand why you can be proud to own a Vostok-Europe watch.